Hello everyone, I am RexRed, and I am back with another easy 3D tutorial live from my studio here in Portland, Maine. I want to thank you all for being part of this tutorial, and for people who are going to come in and check this out. And what we have on the agenda today is making your own infinity cove, and so we are going to jump right into this and making an infinity cove. What is an infinity cove? Well, the first time I heard that term used was in purchasing a product by called Render Studio 2 for Daz Studio, and a very good product. I would recommend purchasing it. And so, yes, Render Studio 2, and they called it an infinity cove. And what it is basically is an L-shaped plane, okay? It comes down like this and it curves out like that. It's a plane that is like has a bend in it. And what you do is you put that plane behind your figure, and it's as if you have like a green screen drop down and draped along the floor, and then your figure can stand there, and then you have it's like for photography. It helps create a backdrop for your model. Okay, that's what we're going to do today, is learn how to make our own. Yes, you can purchase your own infinity cove, and this is why I say let's build our own. Okay, is because when we go to the smart content here, default, and to files, and I search for the infinity cove, just like type cove, all right? Then I come up with this infinity cove prop here, and we put this in the scene, and you know, everything looks cool here. Let's zoom out so we can see the whole cove. And this, it looks like, yeah, it's a beautiful infinity cove, and it's going to work fine. But the thing is that what I want to do is be able to shape the bottom to make it look like landscape. And when I go into wireframe mode, it looks like we've got like a vertical lattice, but the horizontal steps, it's like, okay, if we turn off the ground floor here, there are like none. All it's made up is vertical lines. And yes, that sure makes for a very nice cove that has but if you want to shape this, it's impossible, because every time, like if you use mesh grabber, the only thing you can do is pull up one of the vertical lattices that go across. You can't. Angus, heavy rain, oh my gosh. Yes, that sounds like fun. Yeah, I have my window open. It's kind of like summer here, but it's warm in my studio, and so I had to open the window, and now I'm going to have cars rushing by and seagulls honking, and yeah, seagulls honk, don't they? So yeah, that's the thing. So this infinity cove is not going to work for the purpose, and you'll see the purpose later on of what I'm trying to do here. So yes, so we will, so what we're going to do is delete this infinity cove, and then I'm going to go here to planes, and you see I have 300 divisions. I think 300 is really a lot. So what I'm going to do is bring that down to 150, okay, and we're going to click accept, okay, and when we're in wireframe, and even at 150 divisions, I'm wondering if that is still too much. Let's see, surfaces, parameters, and we go to parameters, select the plane, and let's resize the plane. Okay, we're going to bring this infinity cove in again, just so we can kind of size it to the same thing. And as you see, there's a lot more geometry in my infinity cove than theirs, like a ton more. And I can understand. I hear a car going by. Okay, so Or maybe that's an airplane. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You can, I think, draw a square around it and it's a very special, it like has little see-through, they go to, you can see my white shirt through it. I'm not sure what it is, but it is an authentic kind of, I got it off of Amazon, and they were expensive, but I got it on like a half-price sale for one of them. And then I went back the next day to buy more, and they were like back up to like $35 each. So, which isn't that expensive for a shirt, but yeah, it is a some kind of. I would have to look. I can't see. What's that say? Now everything's backwards. I'm not sure. The only thing short of taking it off, but welcome, and Jerry! Welcome, welcome. All right, so we're going to bring in an infinity cove. We're going to make an infinity cove, and you will see, it's itchy. Welcome, Art. Welcome. Yeah, it's nice to have you here. Yeah, we got 5 people here and 3 likes. Thank you for the likes. You are all awesome. So I'm going to scale this up, and when you see that I scale this up, the squares aren't so bad, okay? And my infinity cove is going to be quite large, so I think we're going to leave this at 150, but you can experiment with this. I'm going to teach you how to make your own infinity cove, and you will see why this is important. And so the question is, how do you make one of these in Daz Studio? And that should do to your brain what it did to mine. It's like, really? How would I make one of those? How would I make this? And you say, why would we want to make it? Well, because it doesn't have the geometry we want. It's got these big long, this infinity cove that they sell you has all these big long lines, but there's no lines going this way. And so you can't use Mesh Grabber to shape it a little bit. You're stuck with what you have here, okay? And yes, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome. So, how are we going to fix this? And I'm going to show you how. What we're going to do is we're going to translate this way, our infinity cove. I want it large enough to fit the whole scene, okay? But I can even after we make our infinity cove, we're going to do this in Daz Studio. So you don't have to go out of Daz Studio to do this, okay? And I believe that when I zoom out on this, like this, I believe if I laid that down, it would, so we bring this about like here, and I believe it would, we're just going to go with this, okay, for our infinity cove, because I want this to cover the whole screen. I want it to be kind of large. And maybe what I'll do is I'll bring this 150 down a little bit, because I'm worried that when you go to make your own infinity cove, which you probably are going to want to do, that you're going to have problems with this having too much geometry in it. So what we're going to do is delete this plane, and we are going to add another one, and I think I'm going to go with a 100. Let's see what that, suddenly I've gotten quiet because I don't want to, I know my voice can be kind of piercing and sharp, and I will try not to be as articulate here. Okay, so we're going to scale this up a little bit like that, and I think I can still move it and manipulate it, and this would give us about 150, and we go like that. My camera, as you can see, is doing really well, Art. And today I bought another camera, okay? I know, this is the last camera, I promise. I promise it's the last camera. But today I bought a 200 megapixel camera, okay? Because I am very invested in this channel, and you're going to see why I bought a 200 megapixel camera. Today we're going to do some real fun stuff, okay? So this is going to be the dry part of this, is making our infinity cove, but then you're going to see why we made it, okay? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to hide the infinity cove, okay? Because I pretty much have what we need. And then what we're going to do, now I have to hope I can do this. I'm going to try to do this like smoothly so that when you go to make yours, that you're going to be able to do it really well. Z. Okay, so we're going to, without, we can't see. Oh no, here we go. Thank you very much. Now I know how's your camera doing. So, okay, what I'm going to do is bring this back in so you can see what, okay, here is the infinity cove. All right, here is the, we'll go to the live view. And what you can see, to Iray, what you can see is this is an infinity cove. It allows you to put your figure in here, and they can stand in here, and you can put like a texture or something cool, and it's like a photo area. Like photographers have these. They hang them down, and they have the figure sit in a chair or do something in this infinity cove, okay? So what we're going to do is turn this off. We're going to make our own infinity cove. You're very welcome. Thank you, because I would have just kept that on talking and talking and talking rather than showing you. And that's what the whole point of this is. So I'm going to delete this plane just so I can bring it back in and show you what I did. We're going to go into wireframe, okay? And I'm going to show you why we can't use this infinity cove. Because you see, this is a product that I bought, but as you know, notice there are like the lattices only go vertical except for two lattices which go, they only go horizontal, and there's only two lattices that go vertical, the edge ones. And I'm going to turn this off here so you can see. It says show the floor, and you can see where there are no vertical lattices. So if I were to take Mesh Grabber and grab a piece of this, it would pull that one little vertical lattice up, but all the rest would stay together, you see? So there's no way to shape this into anything, okay? That's what we're trying to do, is get the ability to shape this. See, I thought about this. I was up until 4 o'clock in the morning trying to figure this out so that I could show you guys how to do this, all right? And gals, awesome people here. And so this is the the infinity cove that you get with Render Studio 2. And there, like I said, there are no vertical lattices. So what we need to do is create our own. But how do you bend a plane in Daz Studio? And if anybody knows how to bend a plane, just because I'd like to see that somebody arrives at the same conclusion that I did on how to make an infinity cove in Daz Studio. Okay, how do we bend a plane? And we don't have any modeling tools. So yes, you could take it into Blender, or you could even do it in Hexagon, but how do we do it in Daz Studio? That is the question, okay? And so I'm going to show you how to do it, all right? So what we do is we turn this off, and we create a plane, and I'm going to do this size. We could say probably size 10, and divisions. We're going to go with 100 divisions. Okay, I got to get over here to this computer. I don't know how I got switched, but size 10. We're going to go size 10 and 100 divisions. I'm hoping that's not going to be too taxing on your computer. Because when you go to save this, it can take a while because it's not a Daz product that you're saving. It's a completely new thing, okay, that you're saving. So we're going to say File, Save As, and we're going to go Scene. Infinity Cove Tutorial. Okay, so let's see how long it takes to save it. And you see my thing is still kind of, that wasn't too long, all right? That didn't take too long. Now, it may take longer as we go along. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now put another plane in the scene, okay? Because we need a plane, well, you'll see why, okay? So this is going to be ground, and this is going to be our cove, okay? All right? And what we're going to do is select this cove, and we're going to bring it up in the air like this. And we're going to take this ground, and we're going to scale it bigger, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this cove, and we're going to go Edit, Object, Geometry, Add Dynamic Surface. We're going to turn this cove into a dForce object, okay? But then, okay, we're going to turn the ground off for a little while so we can see our cove here. Then we're going to go here and zoom in on this like this. We're going to take this and select our cove again. And then we're going to go, and this is the hard part that I kind of have trouble finding all the time, Geometry. And it says add. Where is it? Add. We are looking for smoothing. Maybe I'm in the wrong place, but I think I'm in the right place. Selected. We're looking for a weight. Okay, maybe it's in a different place here. Okay, create. Here it is. Create. Okay. I know we're gonna be. We're gonna dForce modifier weight node. Okay, and once you do this, you don't have to rename it. And then we go to surfaces. No, we go to tools. We go to our weight map brush. And we add map. And it turns red. And when it turns red, you know you did it right, okay? So now we're going to do is zoom in some more here and zoom over, okay, like this. And then we're going to use, we'll see what happens when I put my brush over this. If I hit alternate, it erases. But it's only erasing it for each one of these. Okay, here it is. I have to hit, I think, which one is the right one? Alternate maybe turns it off, okay. And you want to make, okay, see, each one of these has to be gray. So they go from red to purple to gray. And you have to, it's kind of tedious, but we have to make this into a place. And what'll happen is like, it's like if you think of a flag on a flagpole. This is going to be the part attached to the flagpole, and then the rest of the flag will be able to blow in the wind. Okay, so that when it's gray, it means it's static. It's not affected by the weight. But when it's red, it means it's a, and what I'm putting this little round thing over is this little, it's this vertex. It's not the line. So when I put it over this one, it turns that one gray. When I put it over this one, it turns this one. And so as I'm going over each vertex like that, okay? And then we take this and we move it over like this. And we keep coming through like this, until we get to the end. And if this wasn't a live video, I'd switch to the end. But unfortunately, I have to keep kind of going over them. The rest will be dynamic. We're just going to run a simulation. It's going to drop down and voila! We're going to turn back on the ground. voila, I guess, with a V, not a W. Yeah, we're gonna drop it down on, and we're gonna turn back on the ground so that it impacts the ground plane. And that will be it. And then we have a very nice, you have your very own infinity cove, okay, with geometry. And I'm gonna show you why it's important to have geometry. That's the next spot. The next part of this tutorial is why do we have to have geometry in our infinity cove? Why do we have to have this lattice? Well, it allows us to shape the lattice into things, okay? To give it just a basic amount of shaping, and you'll see why that's important as we go along. So I'd like to look and see how far I've gotten across this, but we're just going to keep going and going until it's done, I guess. All right, let's see how much further we got. Let's bring it over here. Well, quite a ways. So we just make sure that we get each one of these. It's kind of easy to do this. It's not that hard. As you see, all I had to do was put the dForce modifier on the weight thing, and don't forget the last part, add map, okay? And then you're ready to start painting. Oh, and I'm going to turn this on here, so it kind of makes it a little harder to see, but then you can see, like, when every time I'm holding the alternate key while I'm going, and if you take the alternate key off, then it puts them back, okay? So that's how you do it. When you hold the alternate key, it erases the weight map from the... All right, we're going to bring this over. How much further have we got? Well, maybe we're halfway. I don't know. So... But we're going to just show you, because you don't want a curl at the top. You just want it to kind of hang. So that's why you want this top, just this top line, because you don't want it to kind of curl out and bow out. So you just want to be precise about this and get this top line. It's like, let's cheat and go over it twice, maybe. And that's not working. Weight mapping is tedious work. It is always tedious. Anything to do with weight mapping is usually a very tedious job. So that's just the way it is. And look at us, we're at the end. Okay, so we'll come back over through, and there we go. We got one more. Okay. So now we're going to zoom out, and we have, let's save this. Now that saved pretty quick, okay, like almost instantaneously, which is kind of nice. It means that, you know, it's not massively... All right, so we turn back on our ground, and this is where you kind of have to do things a little bit like to test, because how high does it need to get halfway, kind of, to get your... So it drops halfway down, you know, and so it bends halfway. Who knows? We're going to try it. We're going to figure it out and see if this isn't right. So now we're going to go into simulation settings. We're going to take initialization off. I guess there's no reason to have initialization. We're going to turn on our timeline, and we're going to set our timeline to about 300. Okay, and then we're going to go to our simulation. And instead of current frame, we're going to use the animated timeline. And we're pretty much ready to click play. But I would set this down to good instead of better, because we don't have to have, it's not like clothing that has to fit perfectly around a body. It's just got to drop and like lay along the floor, okay? So we can kind of speed up the process by putting the collision mode to good, okay? That's at least my thinking on this. And it should take a little bit less time to run the simulation. So let's go. Okay, so we got a timeline, click. Let's go. Let's see what happens. It's working. It's working. So we might have to simulate this a couple times until we get it right. I just guessed how high it should be. I think this is going to be perfect. No, it's not, because there's too much sky and there's not enough ground. So it's up too high. So I can cancel this already. But it worked. It laid across the bottom there. Perfectly cancel this. Okay, and we only needed to go to 190. So let's go back. Let's clear this. Let's go rewind. And let's set our animation to 200. Because we're going to lower this a little bit as well. So we're going to go to our Cove here. Parameters. And let's lower it a little bit. Make sure you're at the first frame when you do this stuff. Okay, and so we're going to zoom out a little bit more. And we'll lower it again. Y, maybe just a little bit more. All right, and now I just want to make sure there's something. Okay, we're going to go back to our simulation settings and simulate. Simulate. Okay. What do we got? Okay, it's still too much. Okay, because, you know, you figure you only want a little bit of sky, you know, because this is what we're going to do is put an image on here, okay? So we only want a little bit of sky, so we're going to now clear this, go back to parameters. Let's take our Cove and bring it down some more, like about here. Oh, I don't know if I just did that right because, oh yeah, I did it wrong. See, now I've put keyframes here. So you don't hit delete, you right click and delete keys. Okay, you don't, then we're rewinding. Okay, make sure you don't have any keys. You don't select them and hit delete, okay, because you'll delete your Cove, okay? So you just right click, you draw a square around it. If you do that, and then you right click and delete it, okay? So now, I think I lowered it. Yes, I did, but then when I deleted it, it brought it back up. So we're going to go back to parameters. We're going to lower this some more, like there, like here. And let's give it another go. Simulate. All right. Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying this art. That you're enjoying this discovery, because that's what it is. And please keep going and going so we get a little bit more. All right. You know what? I think that's enough right there for what I want. But it's not quite in the center, but you know, if I need to bring the image up, I can use the, you know, like if I need to bring it down or up or whatever, I have some room to play with here. So this is our infinity Cove, okay? And if you look, now we turn off the ground just for a moment so we can really examine this Cove, okay? This is pretty nice, okay? It's a nice little backdrop for our scene, okay? It's a beautiful backdrop for, okay, our scene. So what we're going to do now is go, so, and all we need for our scene is this, okay? All right, so we go like this, and like this, and over a bit, and there, okay? Now we can stretch our image here. And we can bring this down more if we want, okay, about to there. Or we can take the infinity Cove and go into parameters and scale it, okay, make it bigger and smaller, okay, no problem with that. See, so this is our infinity Cove. And it has geometry. It's not, it has, so I can take Mesh Grabber and shape this into land, okay? Into like little things where rocks, if this was a rocky thing, I could bring the rocks up in spots and bring it up so that it actually has some shape to it, okay? And that's what we're looking to do, is to shape this a little bit into. So now we're not going to know what we have here until we put a figure in the scene, okay? So I'm going to save this. And now we can get rid of our ground plane because we're not going to be using a ground plane in here. Okay, we're just going to be using the Cove and an HDRI to go around our scene, light up our scene. Okay, so we can now close our timeline. All right, that's where our timeline, this is where it stays. Now, you could export this as an OBJ file and bring it back in, and then it gets rid of all of that dForce stuff and all that stuff, and what you end up with is just a piece of rounded geometry with all of this geometry built within it, okay? So that's just an option, okay? I'm not going to do that right now because it's okay to use it just the way it is also. But what I would do after you've made your geometry is save this scene and call it Infinity Cove template, okay? Because you're going to see why this is so cool to have an Infinity Cove template. You can get on your phone, and now we're coming over here, and you see this is what I did today, was I took some pictures today, and you see I could put this like right here. Let's take a look at this picture. You see, I could put this on the Infinity Cove. Now, and what would happen is, this is where the plane would stop at the top, and it would come down, and all of this would be flat here, and then this part here is where the curve is, and that comes out to this part. Do you see what I'm saying? This. This is going to be, this would be, I haven't messed with something this weird, okay? I took this picture today. I haven't messed with anything this weird, but then you put your figure right here, you know? So, okay, but what I'm going to do instead is something that seems a little more logical to use with the Infinity Cove, and I'm thinking this right here, okay? Because here, I took a drawing class a few months ago, and now I'm looking at the bridge picture for vanishing points. I don't know a lot about drawing. That's one thing I really cannot do is draw. I think of all the talents I was born with, I can sing beautifully. You know, I have a good eye for things, but I cannot draw. And when I sign my name, I just scribble. It's the only thing I can't write. I can write I can write legibly. I can write in cursive fairly legibly. It's not beautiful, but it's okay. I would say just okay. All right. It's not terrible, but it's just okay. It's not beautiful. But I cannot draw. I just have no. My brother won one of those years ago when they used to have those little advertisement. It's like draw the little fawn, and you draw the fawn, and if you everybody's kid would draw a picture of the fawn, and they would send it in to see if they would win a scholarship. Well, they came to my parents' house and wanted to like cart their son off to some college, you know, just like, wow, we think, because he drew like the fawn or whatever, and they came and wanted to take him off to some college, and they say, you're not taking our son. No, we don't think so. And that was that. So, but what do we see here? Well, what I see is a place where we could have that bend in the Infinity Cove happen right about here, okay? And so we could have it come in through here. This is the flat part, and this is the up part, okay? Very much like how Daz uses HDRIs, and then they put a floor plane, and you can move the floor plane kind of where you want it. But the problem with that, again, is that your HDRI is stretched in this infinitely large thing, and you lose all the detail in your image. Because look at the detail in this image. See, there is some massive, massive detail here. Okay, and I don't want to stretch this and lose all of this detail. And what I'm going to do is, if this is the flat part, I can set a figure standing right there on the in this scene. Okay, so without further ado, this is 2015. Okay, so we're going to go into surfaces. Here, select our infinity Cove. Why is that turned off? Oh, that's the old Infinity Cove. We're going to get rid of that. This is our Cove. Here, base color, browse. Okay, and this is the wrong one. We're going over here to this one. And this, what was that? 9.0, it was at something that said edit. 2015. Which one is it? Well, let's hope this was. I think I forgot the number as soon as I said it to myself. We have another one here, but let's do this one. Okay, open. Open. And we have to go into Iray to see it. And there it is. Kind of washed out a little bit, but that's because we have an HDRI shining on this. And see how flat this all looks? Well, that's where it's nice to be able to use Mesh Grabber and pull these areas up. And if we look at this sideways, we can decide exactly where our, which isn't too bad. Now, what's happened here? See, this is pretty cool. So basically, if you want to take a picture of your home, your house, go outside, grab your phone, take a picture of your house, bring it in, put it on the Infinity, Infinity Cove, and then put a figure in front of your house and say, who's that stranger? We just recorded him on our door cam, loitering around our front yard, okay? Has anybody seen this person? So, but I'd say we should probably bring the horizon. Just happens to kind of line up sort of perfectly with this, but I would say maybe the water is bending up a little bit. I don't know. But if I bring it down further, then we got way too much sky. So I think we'll just leave it the way it is. So I don't think you can really see that water bending up like that. But the idea is that now, obviously, see, we have a problem here because we have too much shine. Now, the thing is that shine is important because if we take all the shine off, if I just come here to the gloss and just turn it to black, okay, the shine is gone. But then also, I believe, so are your shadows. Okay, so you're not going to be able to have the shadow of your figure standing here unless you have a little bit of shine. So what we do is we just bring up the shine a wee bit, like that, so that there's enough to have a shadow. And maybe a little bit more. It's going to look really terrible once you get up to a certain length, a certain height. But I think that's enough for it to cast a shadow. Okay, now let's bring in, we're not going to know how big this Infinity Cove needs to be until we bring our figure into the scene. So let's do that. And we're going to go to Default, Figures, and let's find a figure. We're going to go to here. We got the word Cove there. Figures. What's the name of the Genesis 9? Not him. The Genesis 9 black guy. I think he's we'll pick the black guy. If I can find him. There he is, Lawrence. Let's bring Lawrence in. Figure. And which do I want? I don't need veins. And this is Genesis 9. We don't need HD either because he's going to be kind of far away. So we'll decide how far we want everything. I might crop in. This is a 100 megapixel image. Okay, so in order. All right, awesome, awesome. I just came in from dinner and thought that that was your render. Yeah, no, that's funny. No, I'm not that talented. No, yeah, I mean, you see how hard this would be to make this kind of scene in Daz? I have to drink some water. Yeah, see, that's what I just did, Art. I'll do that again because it seems as though you didn't quite catch that. Now, obviously, because he's so big, I've got to stretch this infinity cove huge. Okay, but I'll go back over and show you again what I did in surfaces. Okay, it seems like you missed it. You see where it says glossy color? Well, this is the easiest way to just turn gloss off. If something is awful glossy and it's terrible, you just come in here and make it black, okay? And go like that. And then there's no gloss on the picture. Then the HDRI won't reflect off of this. There's no glossy surface. Let's see, you can turn it on its side and use it. If you want a panoramic picture, what you would need to do is put this within a sphere, okay? But what'll happen is when it mixes, you actually have to take a panoramic picture with your phone, and I don't know that Daz allows you to load. I don't think they do a panoramic picture as a surface. Okay, so Daz does not allow panoramic pictures. What it does allow is a seamless picture. So if you have a panoramic picture and there's a way to take and go into Photoshop and chop that picture somewhere and make it into a flat image, because it would be, kind of like, so you'd have to use like a photo editing so that what you would be doing is, then you could put that within a sphere and it would be seamless, okay? So that when you zoom around, you would see a panoramic image that doesn't have a seam, okay? So you'd have to take a panoramic image with your phone. Okay, so what we're going to do is, what do I have to do? Okay, in order to make him fit properly, I have to zoom out like this, okay? And then I have to take this cove and stretch it, okay? Scale it like this, like really huge, so like that. Well, you're very. I'm glad you brought that up because it gave me something else to kind of explain, so other people could say, "Oh, I see." So it's very, 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 very good. That's what this is all about. Is us nailing down these ideas. So obviously he's not going to be in the center. So what I would need to do is come over here because I want to keep him in the center. And then I move my cove over, X translate like this. And as you will see, when I bring this down like this, when I bring the cove up, Y translate, he's actually going through it, okay? So what I would want to do now is, because this part sticks up, this part sticks up, well, let's make it stick up. Let's make these parts stick up. Let's pull this up. And we can't pull this up because this is part, if I pull this up with mesh grabber, it's going to make it look like weird, like elephant kind of, or camel like thing. But I can pull this stuff up because it's all on this flat plane. I can make this roly-poly kind of little hilly kind of thing. Make this the low part. I can push this part down. You see, I can give it some real 3D because we have an infinity cove with some geometry in it. Okay, and so we go into the tool settings, and let's go to see what happens when we go to Iray. Out of Iray. Oh, we're out of Iray. Okay, now we are. All right, so and I could also go to wireframe texture shaded. Okay, so we could kind of take a look at this and see what we're doing. And now where I'm going to want him to stand in here, I'm going to try to figure that out also, is drawing a blank here. Okay, because what do I want to do first? Do I want to move this? Okay, I think I'm going to leave it like this, but what I'm going to do is just pull the cove in a little bit. Now, if I do this and we end up with a shadow, excuse me, I think what I have to do is move the image on here. So we go to Surface, Cove, we go down here, and this would be our vertical tiles. What we're going to do is pull this down a little bit more, like that. Okay, now my trees look a little bit weird. Okay, so there's only so far you can go. So this was what, the vertical? So I got to bring it so the trees at least don't look weird. Let's go into Iray and see what this looks like. The trees are okay now. Okay, but it's what it does. I don't know if I was able to bring that down. And, okay. So what we're going to do now is pull our cove ahead. Okay, we're going to pull the cove ahead. So parameters, so that he's in the right place. Z. On the map, on this here. Okay, Y translate. Okay, now what I'm going to be doing is pulling all this land up a little bit. So it's going to go through him a little bit. So let's go now back to our wireframe textured. Let's go into our tool settings, go to our mesh grabber. And I'm going to select this particular one because it seems to have it. I don't want it to leave like, I want it to just kind of pull where I pull sort of thing. And what happens when I click here? That's too small. So we got to bring it up a little bit like this maybe. And let's just kind of play around with this, pull this up out of the and now we pull this up out. I think it's got to be bigger, Z. It's got to be a little bit bigger. And we're going to start here. Pull this part up and this part up. So it just looks like it's not, so it's not like a flat thing. And we can pull this part out a little bit here. And this, I guess. And we can pull this part down a little bit into, so that it's actually lower than this. And is this actually, am I ruining it? I don't know, but we're going to try. That's what we try to do here. Let's pull this up a little more. And see, well, then we're going to see if we've got his feet going through the floor, the ground a little bit. Okay, I think, okay, maybe a little more here and a little bit more in here. This is why we don't want a vertical infinity cove. I think that might be a little too far down. It's going to look like it's kind of weird, but And this can come down maybe a tiny bit here. All right, and this little edge here is going to come down because we could really make this smaller and kind of micro work it. Okay, but it's a little bit bigger. Okay, now let's go into Iray and see if his feet are going through the floor. They're not, and you see, it looks like I need to pull some of this, but this just did something kind of odd to it. It gave it all a little bit of, I think what I've got to do is come in here and bring this up a little more. And this. And I'm not sure what I'm doing to this, but let's see what happens. Now we're going to go out of Mesh Grabber, and now we're going to take our Lawrence here and put, well, we're going to bring our Cove ahead. Z, parameters, Z, like this, and Y, Z. Okay, now we're getting close here. Z again, bring him back, and Y. Now let's give our character a pose. So let's put some clothes on, something smart on him, and this would be wardrobe. We're going to turn this on. We're going to select Lawrence, of course, as we go down through here. Come on. There it is. All right, a Guardian outfit. And we got some glasses for him. And we got to give him some hair. And this is the beard. Okay, we'll go with this, the Afro beard and hair, and I think I'm going to change the hair though, and hair, okay, the hair, we're going to get rid of the hair, we'll keep the beard, we're going to go with select Lawrence, hair, short, Okay, I have to take this off because we're going to do Genesis 8 also hair. Okay. Here it is. That's the hair I want. Okay. Just a little bit more modern than the other one that he had. So now we get a pose. Let's save this. And we're going to light him up a little bit. We're going to give him some light. Well, our HDRI is going to give the light. Okay, we're going to mess with the HDRI next after we get him into a pose. I'm going to turn him out to the sea, looking out this way. And looks cool. All right, so we're going to now go to, what was the other thing? Poses. Poses by function, standing, and we're going to go here. Okay. We'll try this. This is Genesis 9, so we don't have to do anything with that. Okay, we're going to turn him parameters. Okay, we're going to add a camera, create, copy perspective view. Now we can take our camera perspective view here and take a look at his feet. Where are you, buddy? There you are. We'll move our infinity Cove instead. Y translate down. Okay. And X translate. Back to our camera. And what do we got? Save this. And now we've got to mess with some lighting, and that's just about it. Now it looks like what I'm going to do is this Cove. It looks like this, my image, my camera was crooked. So what I got to do is take Lawrence and the camera, put these in and the Cove, group them, Lawrence and Cove. Okay, now what we could do is take this thing here and rotate it what? Z? Okay, let's try this. Let's go to this. Okay. Let's see if this looks okay. That looks better. Okay, so now let's take and mess with our HDRI. So remember I told you guys that I hear a buzzing sound. Gonna check another video. Okay. I hope it's not in my sound. Okay, right. Sometimes I throw 3D brain. Okay, so let me know if you guys hear a buzzing sound. That would be very bad, because then I'd have to troubleshoot and find out where's the buzz. I do have cars going by, and I have a window open in my studio room right now because it's warm out, and rather than turn on a fan, I just open the window really large, so every once in a while you'll hear a car going by. So these are two ducks in the water, and they don't look like ducks. I don't know what they look like. I should have just removed them with AI. I removed a car. There was all kinds. There was a big stick in the mud with a bunch of stuff. There was stuff over here that I removed. I removed stuff from over here. I went and edited this picture to get stuff. There was some really weird clouds in the sky. They just looked completely out of place. It's not the normal noises in here. Yeah, I like that message. Art, that was nice. I know Tom Petty and his Damn the Torpedoes. It was an awesome album. Okay, so we're going to now go here. We're getting towards the end of this tutorial, so I hope this has been enlightening, helpful, all of that. So the thing is take pictures of your of the places in your world, bring them in, put your characters in them, and that's what we're doing. Okay, we're taking our world and bringing them into Daz. And you know what? There was no AI used in this. Unless I'm secretly an AI operative, you know. Yes, I had my brain replaced with AI a long time ago. So, and even I didn't know it. It's not your normal noises in here, like the great Tom Petty mom would say. Even the losers, yeah, even the losers. One of my absolute... Get lucky sometimes. Yes, they do. Yeah, Tom Petty. Amazing. I spent many days of my life completely... just completely amazed by his skill. Yeah. And so let's try one of these kind of subdued colors here. Let's just try a different HDRI, one that actually has some... Now, this is pretty cool, but it looks like he's kind of floating, even though he's there. It looks like he's kind of floating on the scene a little bit. I think I got to push him in a little further. Lawrence and Cove. How about Lawrence? We'll go here. What happens when we just push you in a little bit, Lawrence? But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. There he is. And bring him down a little bit. I just think he's got a... Oh, yeah. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to give Lawrence a little bit of light, maybe. We're going to, again, spotlight. Just spotlight. And if you try sometime, you just might find. Now we gotta hope this spotlight doesn't put a big spot on the wall of our, that's what would be, that would be terrible, okay? Or a big shadow. So we're just gonna light him up a little bit. Maybe we have to bring the spotlights really close, we'll see. So we go back to our camera view. And what happened here? I think the spotlight turned off my environment. Let's see. Go to the environment here. The environment tab. Okay, infinite dome and scene. Something really weird just happened here. Okay, the camera light got turned off. The environment light, the spotlight. Okay, because when I brought the spotlight in, the camera light got turned off. So why? Okay, so this environment, its draw dome is on. So let's try rotating the dome. The sun might be behind the dome. I think something just really weird happened in this. Because usually a spotlight, okay, I need to delete this spotlight and put another one in. I think something really weird happened here. Now what if I go to my camera and turn off the headlamp? Because it says auto. Let's try off. Yeah. So why do we have no light at all from our HDRI in here? So something's wrong. Let's go in environment, type none. Okay, that looks okay. Environment, draw a dome. Okay, we're gonna try a different. Let's bring that up to 13. Now something is very strange going on here. I can't tell what I've done here. And I'm moving my camera around. This is not what we want to do. Okay, we're going to bring this back down to 2. Okay, something's changed our... Let's try a different HDRI. Just something's really weird's happening here. These render settings. Okay, I've done something very strange here. Oh, we are not in Iray. Whatever we were not in Iray. And this is worse. Oh, okay. Now we got something. And when I put a spotlight in here, is it going to freak all out again? No? Okay. So we now have an environment. We go to parameters. And we can bring up now our environment to 4 maybe. And this is where I don't want to put a tint here, because if I want an orange tint, or if I want to make it orange, then I just got to go pick an orange sky, okay? So that's the whole thing behind this. The idea is not to tint it. Remember we talked about that? We cried when Tom, that's too bad. That's sad. Yeah. Render settings. Okay. What I'm going to do, since we got the render settings working well, okay, here, I wonder about one of these. Would it be kind of cool just to try one? Okay, we don't need a ground plane. See these render settings? Sometimes it's just better to never use these HDRI render settings and just go in and load your HDRI, because it changes so many parameters of your environmental options. Then you end up with this mess of like, what the heck? Oh, I got the ground on again now, and you can see I did pull that up above. Yeah, so all right, so we got to go back into parameters and turn off the ground plane. It's like, just load the darn image and let us mess with all, if we need a ground plane and all that. Ground plane off. Well, it's kind of cool. It adds this little thing, but that's not enough to make me really like it. So what I'm going to do is, this is our environment map. We're going to leave these, and hopefully we haven't messed up the environment too bad. And we're going to go here, browse, and I'm going to go to HDRI, and we're going to find the HDRI that we want instead. Okay, see, something like this is really nice. It's going to give me a nice warm color. This is 8K. All right. See, we know what we got. We know what we're doing. We got just the... Okay, this is at 2. See, it's... Okay, now I can spin this around a little bit. Now we're getting like a shadow kind of thing going on here. See, we do have a shadow. I'm not sure how realistic that looks. See, I kind of like this a little bit, like here, but this one here, this is kind of interesting, where it casts, it's like the lights coming through the trees, but it's just that it doesn't look that realistic. So we're going to go where there's no shadow. Now the sun is casting a shadow, a hard shadow. Why? Because the sun is a little teeny ball in this big gigantic sky. Now if the sun was gigantic, well then we would have a soft shadow. So that's why. Okay, so you can see this image here. Well, with this image, let's find something. Now we have this red nebulous. Just gives us a bunch of colors, like, see what this looks like. Come back. Now see, this is kind of interesting, but there's no actual sun in the sky. Then we have a shadow on the wall. This is kind of interesting. Now I have a spotlight here. We're going to take and let's point the spotlight at him and see if we can maybe accentuate him. It's not that I like this, I'm just going to get the spotlight in place. Tell me, this is so strange how all of a sudden, the minute I bring this spotlight in, we lose all our lights. The environment just turns off. It's okay if it's below the scene. Suddenly, and I have the headlamp turned off. We just lose our environment. Okay, I think there's a bug. Something buggy's going on here, Z. And I think, remember, we're in an animation. We're putting all this stuff in the later parts of the animation. Okay, so we don't want to hit rewind. That's for darn sure. Save this. So Z. What's going on here? All right, we're going to save this. We're going to close it. I bet when I bring it back, suddenly there's light. What's happened, I believe, is one of these. All right, what might be better is to just go Z, Z, Z until I stop, until before I started messing with. Let's go to our environment options. Okay, now that's when we had that one. Let's see if I can get back to when we had the original environment map. We shouldn't, okay, the spotlight's still here. Control Z. Daz only has so many. You can only back up so far, and I think I've gone back as far as there is. So we're going to save this again. We're going to close this, and when we reopen it, I bet the color's going to be fine. So this dome rotation, ground position, what's going on here? Draw ground is off. All right, we close it. I thought I just saved it. Cancel, save it. Go pick an orange. I'm not sure how that what that is in reference to. I wish I could. I love oranges. Okay, it's deleting the objects. Clean. Oh, an orange sky. That's what I meant. Maybe I didn't finish my sentence. Go pick an orange sky that's kind of orange, but I think I overdid it. So these are some of the others. So I went in today and got this image while we're waiting for Daz to let us. That one we could put something, you could just put that right on a plane and have some people standing here. Or put the plane, have the plane sink down in behind a like an ultra scenery scene, so that the grass comes up about this high and people are standing in front of it. So, but this is 100. This is 100 megapixels, and I have a new camera coming that is last night I ordered the Samsung Galaxy S24. I'm trading in my other phone, my S22. And so for an S24, which is going to give me 200 megapixel images. So I'm invested in this whole idea. And here again, here's another image. Well, we would probably put this would be, okay, I guess that might be where our, what do you call it? Where infinity cove, this line, this horizon here would be where our infinity cove bends, and then this would all come through, and you could have some people standing here. So I took this picture today, and then there's just some really cool textures and stuff. This one, you look at that, it's like, wow, it goes like way, 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 way in. And imagine now what the 200 megapixel image is going to look like. So this gives us some really cool stuff to do with textures. I could turn this on its side. Here's another one. This is where I turn my phone sideways. You're hearing a humming, buzzing sound. Let me turn up my... Yeah, I'm hearing that humming, buzzing sound too. That's when you turn me up really loud, okay? Yeah. Testing. So we go here. Hey. All right, I think what I can do is go into my mixer. It's important that I fix these things. Okay, not there. Go into here. All right, well, let me turn it up and see if I can turn up. Hey, my Hey, there's one side that turns that up a little bit more, and then what I can do is turn these down a little bit here. It might be okay, and turn this up. Hey. Yeah, hey. Testing one. And then, hey. Turn this up a little bit. The gain up here. Then I can turn down my hey. Look, thought I had a mosquito on my arm. Hey, testing 1, 2, hey. Hello? I think that might have brought some of that down, okay? Not too much, but I think you can turn it up a little bit louder. And is that better, Art? You are going to hear, I have my window open, so you are going to hear the outside, like, bustling of my city that I live in. But you shouldn't hear that buzz, and that's right. I think the buzz is gone. Okay, I don't have my speakers on. Okay, they are off. They are always off for, that's why I've got these little earbuds in. That's how I hear you. I always make sure I can hear what you're hearing, and that's why when I turned it up and it said, yeah, there is a little bit kind of like tweedly kind of little buzz in there. So, yeah, and what I did was I just cranked up the mic coming into my system. So thank you very much, people, for the likes. The likes are very nice. So let's go and open up. Yeah, let's open up our Daz again, reload our scene, and see if our lighting thing is fixed. Yeah, now I have the entire platoon of the army flying overhead right now, helicopters, at least 10 of them. So this not, I have the window open because it's kind of warm in here, and I would just kind of cook. If I didn't, I think I might still have a little space heater on very low right now, so I kind of turn that off. And then I have a white shirt, and then I have a blue shirt over top of it. So I just didn't want to get too hot during all of this. Open recent. Okay, Infinity Cove tutorial. Do we have light? It's like the spotlight's not supposed to turn off. And you know what? I wish I knew a way, if anybody can figure this out, to reset. You can reset the environment to default, but it doesn't always work. Some of these programs, some of these scenes, what it's not scenes, it's, some of these environments, some of these render settings change stuff deep in the environment options. And I'm not yet been able to figure out how to turn them back. And so in theory, they kind of corrupt your scene. Yeah, we got this crazy stuff again. If I turn off the spotlight, what happens? See, this is just really, really weird that, and if I delete the spotlight, what happens? Okay, now we've just lost our environment options, environment temp, lighting blur, draw ground is off, dome and scene. What if we go to finite sphere? Just try something different. And that didn't work. Okay, let's try going here to reset attributes. I don't know if that works. Reset value. No, this one here. Reset preferences. Restore selected items. That's the environment options. Okay, turn the ground on again. So I guess that's a way to restore that. Environment, draw dome is on. We got to turn that on. Okay, what have I done here? Why is my figure like so like out of place? Let's bring this up and look down. Okay. Okay, that looks kind of right, but okay, let's go to Iray. Do we actually have a scene? Is there anything that's going to light this up? There. We got something back. It's not quite what I expected, but... Okay, and what happens when we bring a spotlight in? See, always apply default settings with your spotlight. Okay, now it looks like we've actually got a spotlight. Okay, so if I turn my environment options, and we now just rotate the dome in a weird way, okay. Okay, this was the all right, so I think we've got something happening where we actually have a spotlight now, and I move the spotlight up. Maybe I wasn't switching back to my camera view, so I don't know. Spotlight. Okay. So when I look through the spotlight, we zoom out, okay, a little bit. Now it seems to be working when I reset. I think I needed to reset the environment because it seems to be working now. Okay. And we go back to our camera. And I think this spotlight, I'd like to point it down a little bit. Like this. And like this. And Cherry, you have the great rest of your night. Have a lovely, lovely evening. I will see you again soon. Thank you for hanging as long. As you can see, I'm kind of on the back end of this, so I think you got the best part of this video. If you can check out the beginning, from the beginning, if you missed any, that might be important. So have a lovely evening. Thank you for watching. Thank you very, very much. Take care. Take care. So we're going to light this up a little bit more, give him some illums. 2, let's try 2 and see what happens to our wall behind him. See, that did light him up a little bit, and it didn't do too much bad with the wall behind him. Let's go with a 5 instead. See, that's lighting him up in a good way, and it's not affecting the wall too much. 9. How about if we go with, put a 2 in front of that 9. Now it's lighting up the wall a little bit, so we got to bring it down until, so we don't, but what I'm going to do is light that up with another thing, so it should be brighter than him, but we'll see. And his hair, we got to give him the dark hair. Okay, extra short hair. Short hair. I think we've got 2 hairs together. Which one's which? Okay, that is the hair. Is this the... That might be the... So let's go to parameters. So we lost Cherry. So have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and Cherry. Very nice. It's nice to have people watching. It's very nice. Materials. And this isn't showing up. What about this one? Okay, so... And, of course, we should know what M3DV SH is. So when we go to find it, you know, this... materials. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll do this manually. Okay, we're going to do the hair manually. Base color, what have we got in here? Okay, we got hair. Why do we have two hairs here? Hair, short hair. Okay, we turn this short hair off. And I don't think I want that. I think I just want this hair here. Yeah. So let's see what this says when we look up close. All right, we have two different hairs. Oh, that's my spotlight. I wonder why it got so bright all of a sudden. Okay, now let's go here to our perspective. We can zoom in on there. Here, like this. Okay, that looks okay. This, we may have lost our, I might have deleted our short. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, it says scalp, but these I think are still hair. So we're gonna go, okay, base hair. Let's try changing the hair first. Make it darker, like black. And why do we have, okay, we got some other colors here. Glossy color. Let's make that dark. And translucency color. Make that dark. It's not dark enough. Still not dark enough. The glossy color. Overlay color. All right, that's a little too much. Still a little too much. Let's go to our translucency color and bring that up a bit. Okay, and what about this scalp hair? I think that might be the same thing, glossy color. Bring that down a little bit. And the that's not bad right there. Let's see what else we have here. That's just two. We just have two colors. We have the glossy, and we're going to be doing some more tutorials on masks and masking colors, creating masks. And you see, if you look down in here, you see this cutout opacity, how that's kind of like a mask in a way. We're gonna be doing some stuff with masks, because what gave me that idea is the mask that's in Ultra Scenery, that road that goes through. Well, they're using a mask to do that. Well, how do we make masks like that so we can, yeah, we have to take, now look at this shadow. This is very bad here, so we can't have the shadow on there like that. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm not really sure yet, is I'm not sure how to fix this yet, but that is really bad. So, that looks kind of cool right there. But we've got this light here, so we're just going to have to turn the light down. Oh, we would use a ghost light on him that would make that would give us, because all we want to do is light him. So we'd use a ghost light that would have a plane in it that would give us a soft shadow, and then you wouldn't see that as much. So, or if I can just find a way to light him with the HDRI without this. But the HDRI is going to give us shadows too, because it usually is a tiny pinpoint of a sun. And that's going to also create a hard shadow. So, but I could just bring this down some, but I think his hair is okay now. So what if we just take the spotlight here and try to bring it down? It's just too high. So we go to lumens and we go down to 4. Yeah, it's still showing him, and now he's not lit enough. So what are we going to do? How are we going to fix that? Let's take a look at this through our camera view and see if you can see. Yeah, you can see that shadow. There's his arm. What I could do is turn the camera a little bit like this, like this, and have the camera look. Turn through the spotlight, and then have it point this way. And then we go back to our camera. Can we see the shadow now? No, but we get this shadow, which is kind of nice. Oh, I remember what's happening now. Remember, this was the environment options. This is that one it's causing a big major shade here. So what we'll do is we're going to go and change this. We're not going to mess with the by using render settings. We're just going to change the HDRI, and that's the way to do it. And then your environment options don't get changed like so much that it kind of makes Daz unstable, because the render settings are so kind of messed up. So let's see what we have here. This is kind of nice. Let's try this one. And what happens when we rotate the dome? See, I like this. And let's see where my camera's, how my spotlight is really looking here. Spotlight. I don't know why everything looks so warped here, but it's just, oh, now look what we have again. We have this weird thing that's happened. Go back to Iray. Oh, it's back. That's strange. And then let's, this looks like tiny, like something stretched our, but this is large, okay, so like something is stretched our, then we don't have the shadow pointing straight ahead, we have it pointing like sideways, which is okay to have kind of a long shadow. It might, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a ghost light, and I'm going to just put a mesh light to just light him, a close mesh light to just light him up, and so he pops out of the scene. All right, so ghost, and my chair is squeaking. So ghost light default, we'll go here. And we'll go here. Props. Let's use this. All right, and we put the light in and everything didn't go black. The only thing about these lights is you can see them in, you can't look through them. Control L. Okay, now we have a light turned on. That's nice. And now we can see what we're doing kind of with this thing. I'm going to scale it down. Okay, we're going to rotate it X maybe. Which one? No, that's not it. Z, like this, yes. And we'll do that 90. And then we're going to bring it up. And then we're going to, Y is it? Rotate it Y? No, Z. This would be X. This way. That would be 90. And then let's pull it over here. Oops, we lost it. Over here like that. Scale it down some more. Well, let's see how far we are away from him. That's pretty close. All right, maybe that's what we want. Okay, let's scale it down. Move it down. Let's look around here. Look around. Here we come. Here she comes or something. I can't remember that song. Something break down. I have too many lyrics in my head. Alright, so now we're going to go back to our camera view. Oh, darn, I've been moving my camera around. I didn't lock it. This is what I do. This is how I mess stuff up. Break down. Okay. I'm thinking about how to make now there's another idea, is like to take and cut the picture and have part of the picture on a plane that goes up and down and part of the picture that has a plane that goes this way, and then try to meet them together and make them kind of look like they work. And I've tried that. It doesn't work too well. So, all right. So what we need to do is take this wall light, and one of them goes into surfaces. It's this one. Let's go into Iray and see if this is light. So now it's going to disappear on us. But we got it to light him. Now it's only one-sided. Okay, it is lighting him. So I think all we've got to do is now take our emission temperature and bring it down a little bit. Click on something else. There we go. That's our scene. Now notice this lighting here. So I might do better to pull that light back so it kind of, I think it's this light doing that. Just pull this back a little bit more. So it seems to come at it from the front here. Now, I don't know if there's a way to, I think that if there's a way to do each light. Wall light. Can we go to the wall light here? Yes, there's one light in there, all three associated with it. So, okay, this wall light goes. What we do is we go back into here and we just take this single one. Alright, and let's see where that is. Square light. Okay, we bring it up. And we rotate it. Like this maybe. And then we bring it over like that. Up. Point it down a little bit more like this. square light. Okay, let's see what this looks like. I have to look from the side, and I'm not going to fall into that trap again. I have to lock my camera. That's not bad. That's more natural. It's not lighting the ground like in this really terrible way. Okay, it is lighting it, but not in a terrible way. Okay, so the camera, let's lock the camera so I don't mess with it again. Okay, lock it. And that's one of those utility programs they sell where they give you all kinds of little icons. You click on the icon and it does this and that and all kinds of other things. So we're going to go back to our surfaces. These ones are done through surfaces, not take the temperature down on our light. That doesn't seem to have done it. Let's bring this down. It's like 15 million. Okay, now I think I'm going to bring it up a little bit more to like 8. Yeah, that works. And okay, I think I want to bring this temperature down more. Okay, let's do a render on this. I think this came out kind of nice. So, not to toot my own horn or anything, but toot! Let's see. Just kidding. That was a beep. I don't know where that beep came from, but it's a beep. Now that I click that twice, it's going to close. We get to see it large for a moment, and that is not a bad scene right there. Okay, so what we do is I'm thinking of turning this environment map up a little bit, like to 3, to just brighten everything up a little bit more. Yeah, that works. And what we could do also is now the whole thing about bump maps, okay, like say, well, why don't we create a bump map for this whole scene and everything? It doesn't really work that way. Bump maps are meant for like little sections of this, and not necessarily the whole area. Like if it would be nice to put a bump map on this section here, you know, and so and then in this section, and you know, so to give that section, and maybe a bump map here that would make this actually look like physical buildings rather than all right, so I'm just going to leave the bump map idea out and set that aside, because I think this looks okay. It looks pretty cool. Now, what we could do is add a VDB, because it would work. Maybe. Okay, let's see if it does. Because when it goes beyond it'll just disappear if it goes beyond the thing. But when it comes in, it's going to give us this vertical kind of VDB thing. So why not? Why not Control Alternate minus, and we can minimize that, get the minus out of there. Default, turn this off. Okay, and we got our VDB. Let's try the one I usually use all the time. It seems to be my go-to one, Fog Spindly. All right, so what we could do is move it around a little bit, like over here for sure. Back to Fog Spindly, thank you. Let's bring this down. Okay, and over a little bit. Yeah, and then what we do is we just take this and go into surfaces. We select this, surfaces, and we'll just bring down the density a little bit. Where is it? It's one more level down. Density to 4. Let's try that. Let's try 3. And let's color the fog something else. Let's go with orange, maybe? No. Let's go like this kind of orange. And maybe a little bit more on the yellow side. And we'll bring it down to 1. Give it a little bit of a 3D thing, you know. And I say if we maybe go back to here, move it over this way more. In. There. And let's bring this down to 0.5. Just a little bit of fog. And I don't know if that's doing anything really, but it is creating a little bit more depth to the scene. How about if we duplicate this, edit, duplicate node hierarchies. Let's pull this over this way. Pull it back a little bit more. A little bit of fog out in there. It's not really showing, but bring it up. Not sure what that did. But we have 2. Okay, so all right, save this. And see, once we render this, then we can basically, I think he's a little bit too big. Maybe not. He's in the foreground. If we make him any smaller, it's just going to look, he's going to look insignificant. So we're going to leave him like that. Let's go to render settings here. We'll go 2000, and we're going to go to progressive render. We'll drag this up to maximum samples, maximum time, turn off render quality, save it again. And then we're going to hit render. We're going to render at 2000 in 16:9. Let's see what we got. You see, it's kind of that easy to take. That's what I want to kind of make you all think about. There's no AI here, but it gives us something really kind of detailed. And it's interesting. It's not something so totally novel, and this doesn't look like a duck at all. There's supposed to be a duck there. And that's a duck. It's like, wow, really? So, but the ducks didn't want to pose and be cooperative with me. So, but they are ducks. Now, I just wonder if I've stretched this in any way. This kind of looks, bridge looks like it's kind of twisted and looking like, it looks something's wrong there, but it's okay. And the thing is there's some pretty shocking detail. And what's really strange now is, of all the things in this scene, he's the thing that looks the least... He looks kind of blurry compared to everything else. Everything else looks like amazingly detailed. And try to figure out why is like beyond me. Because he should still be the most detailed thing in the scene, but now that we've got like 100 megapixels here of detail in this image, suddenly he seems to look like the least detailed thing in the scene. And I don't think that's supposed to be right. And you know, I wonder if it might have been better to put him like here, looking out. Because then he wouldn't have been so far in, you know, and then our lights wouldn't have been such an issue. So let's render this, save it, and then we'll try, we'll do this and stand him here. That's about where I was standing. You can see where I was standing to take this image. I was standing like back here. There's a little bit further because I did crop the image quite a bit with the camera. So, okay, I think we're up to probably 2,000, 7,000. Oh yeah, 7,000, there's in iterations. Cancel this, yes. And this is in, I think I had a different name for this, like Lawrence by the beach or something. Lawrence. Okay, let's just call it Infinity Cove. I can do something else with it later. Cove. I don't know why I can't type Cove tonight. Tutorial. Here. And now, what if we take Lawrence and bring him up in the foreground here? Maybe we'll get some more better detail out of him. 9. Why rotate like this, maybe? And like this. What is this? Oh, that's my fog? Okay. Let's bring him... No, not that. Lawrence. Bring him up. Bring him in more like this. And up. Y, translate. Bring our character into the scene. Let's see what this looks like. And I have my light for him over there. This doesn't work. Maybe this might. What if we light him from behind here? Bring our light here. Bring this over. Okay, camera's locked, so I can't mess that up. Okay, we bring this over some more, like this, like this. Okay. Why is that twisted like that? What's nice is you can put these ghost lights right in front of your camera, and that's like not gonna, you can't see them. And what if I do this a little bit more? Okay, camera. Let's see, does that actually make shining any light, or do I need to turn it up? Display. Surfaces. Yeah, that is shining some light. This coat just doesn't have the right kind of texture. That's kind of what we figure out when we get it really close and say, you know, yeah, that coat just, it looks cartoonish, kind of. Shirt, jacket. What's his shirt look like? That's a little better. Now he looks like he's crooked. Let's turn him like this a little bit. And over. Now my Cove looks a little off too. It looks like it's going uphill again. Maybe I undid that by accident. Okay. That's not it. This way. A little too much. Okay. And maybe if I just turn this light down a little bit, it just seems like it's a Lawrence, this light here, surface, just a little too much. Okay, where's our surfaces, base color? Is it here? Yeah, that's it. Temperature. Okay, let's bring the light down to 6. Okay, I think that I put this, I've made the temperature too warm on him because everything else in this scene is so cold. There. All right, I think we're gonna leave that here. Everybody, it looks like everybody's left. All right, so I'm gonna, that's where we're gonna leave this today. So we learned how to make an infinity cove so we could bring, okay, it's just showing me that concurrent viewers, sometimes it doesn't show that. Yeah, Art, thank you for still being here. You're awesome, friend. Okay, so I think that's going to do it for me. Now, there's one other thing I just might want to go into real quick here with our Cove. This is our Cove. We go to surfaces here. We could take this image here, and this is the 2015. Let's try turning this into an emissive. Okay, so we got 2015 here. We go and turn that to white from black, and that turns it into an emissive. And then we're also going to put this on luminance here. And that just makes this into and then we could add like a little bit of light coming from this, like 3. And yes, Angus, you have a good night, friend. Good night to you, 8. And what happens when we bring this way up? And we could also change the emission, the temperature down a little bit on this. So, oh, I know we need maybe some depth of field, but on our camera, what if we turn this to depth of field? We have to unlock. I'm just going to be a second here, trying to kind of mess with this a little bit. We go to unlock our camera. Oh, not the Cove. I think I locked the Cove. That's all right. Now we go to our camera and unlock the camera. Camera, most used, unlock. And we're going to go depth of field on. And then we've got to change our distance, focal distance. We'd go to perspective. Where's our camera? We got to bring it way back. Okay, so focal distance, got to come back. No, it would be focal length. No, focal distance. What? F-stop. They're all doing the same thing. They're all moving that back. It's supposed to move the front one. Okay, let's go back to our camera view. Okay, that changes how wide the screen is. Now, what is up with this perspective view? We got the camera selected. Okay, what if I move this camera back like this? The camera's still locked. That's what's wrong, okay? Favorites, most, unlock. Can we move the camera? Now we can. Okay, now we can move the focal distance. F-stop? No. Focal length. What is up? What? We've got to move the camera back so that he's in there. Then we check, then we go to our focal frame width. Okay, and we lost our trees. What if we bring this way down like this and bring him down so that it kind of looks like he's standing here? Yeah, the problem I'm having here is just getting him to look like he belongs in the scene. You know, it's getting him to meld with and I think it has to do with the perspective of okay, there's the ground. We've got him on the ground. Okay, Lawrence. So I'm gonna head out. I think everybody's gonna leave. This has been a long night. It's been a long day. Yeah, so we're gonna head out soon. What I'm gonna do is bring him in like here, set him on this, and then I'm gonna try to change the width of my camera. Maybe I don't need to too much. Just the focal length. Now he's lost his... See, he's not lit enough compared to the rest of the scene. It doesn't make sense that he would be that dark. And, you know, there's just little logistical things that keep me having to work at this scene. So the square light, let's see what we've got here. We've got to go back to perspective view. And I have to find out what's up with my camera here. Select the camera first and make sure we get our focal. Okay, because that's totally off now. Focal distance. Where is my... Where is... Width. Where is the... Okay, focal distance. There's supposed to be a little thing here. Okay, delete this camera. Something's wrong with that camera. Just right off the bat, something's wrong with it. Apply default settings. Okay, something's wrong with the camera. Okay, that's a spotlight. That's not a camera. Camera. Just apply the default settings. See, things come, when you do those render settings, it changes like the camera, it changes all kinds of things in the scene. And I'm learning that the best thing to do is just do everything manually. Put your things in manually. Okay, so we're going to go like from this angle, I guess, maybe here. And then we'll rotate the camera this way. Let's go back, look through the camera and see what we've got. All right, we're going to move the camera in. Okay. All right, that's starting to look a little better. Now let's see what happens when I try to do this depth of field thing. Okay, go back to my perspective view. Camera. It's focal distance, and that is supposed to, okay, move that. All right, that's looking kind of right now. Focal distance is here. It's about, okay, from the top. Yeah, okay, that right there, I believe, is our focal point. And then the f-stop decides whether if this is going to be narrow or wide. Like this is where it's blurry right in front of him and in behind him. And if you make it wider, then it's less blurry in front and behind. So that makes him kind of pop out. And now this looks crooked again. That's not the one. 0. Z. Let's try 0 here on this. And what other? Okay. X translate. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, that looks okay. And Y translate. See if we can get him. And then we just give some more light on him because he doesn't look like he's lit properly for the scene. That is the wrong one. This is our light. Light him up a little more. Oh, I know. Because remember I made the scene have become, but you'd think the scene would be shining light on him. Excuse me. So we're going to go to, this would be this. And then we take and bring this light up a little more. 5. See, this scene is just not working. 8. Whatever I seem to do doesn't seem to work. I'm going to take the luminance down, It's just, that's the way, you know, and music is the same way. It's like I make a song and then the song has a, it's all noisy and it all kinds of sounds like, and it takes a while to figure out what it is that's causing it to sound wrong. And all of a sudden you just turn something down and all of a sudden the song just like comes together. And that's what's up with this scene. Is it something that I'm just not doing right here. And it's too bad to kind of blur this scene with the camera so much, because when I blur this scene with the camera, I'm losing all this work that I put into making. He just doesn't fit in the scene, and I don't know what it is about it. It's like the whole scene is just, and I don't know whether if it's because there's so much detail in the scene and he doesn't seem to, but why has he lost all his detail? And so it could be that so I'm going to try a few things, and then I'm probably gonna, so we're going to go into our Cove here. And what I did was I went into the Cove and I added, turned the Cove into a, so if we just turn off this emission color, we'll lose those two images. See what happens. Okay, I think that kind of did it. It was turning the whole scene into, now we have a shadow here, which kind of looks good. Makes it look a little more natural. And he might be a little too big now. We go to parameters. Scale him down just a little bit. Let's turn off depth of field. Yeah, I think that works as well. Not blurring things. What if we take the gloves off too? He's got these gloves on. They don't look like, they kind of look out of place. Just kind of noticing things. It's like he's wearing gloves. And what's that in his hand? Save this. Okay, it's starting to look right. Okay, kind of look is starting to work. He's got something going on his hand. I don't know what it is. Let's see. Glasses, boots, belt, mustache. Let's see, perspective. Let's take a look at his shirt. And what's going on with his hand? I think it's just that under his hand is kind of like, oh, and he's catching the light from behind here. What is this? Okay, that's our sky. What if we go back to our camera, we just move our environment a little bit. I think I made the environment too bright, maybe too, as well. So if we go here to put that back to 2, or even 1. That was 2, Z. And okay, I think that's working. And what if we give the environment a tint? A reddish tint. do the cardinal law, break the cardinal law, cardinal rule. Now the sky is pink, and that's why you don't do that. All right, I think this is about the best I'm going to be able to do with this. Now his skin is too shiny. We're going to have to go into here, Lawrence. Okay, smart. See, something like that, just having too shiny a skin, it can be the thing that makes them not fit in the scene. All right, so so we go to this one here, utilities, gloss bumps, okay, reflectivity. Okay, there we go. Just getting things to look real. Save it. Okay, we're going to do another render on this. And I think he's fitting in the scene now. Spindly. Which cube is that? Okay, that's that one. This is this one. What if we bring this, go to surface here. 4. Okay, and that's what's happening. Half of my graphics card is acting up again. Which one is this? Okay, so we go back to surfaces and we bring this back to... Okay, I think that works. All right, this is where we're gonna stop this. This looks nice here now. This is starting to look right. It's like it's sort of sunset. Okay, so render settings. We'll turn that back on. And let's save it one more time. We're going to render this. Let's go out of Iray and hit render. And that is going to do it, folks. That is going to do it. So thank you for watching, people. We have got Sigmund's theme going on. Good night, dear friends. We've got a render going on. Please like, subscribe, click the bell. That works. Click the bell for notifications. And thank you for watching. I hope you've learned something about using an Infinity Cove, putting some massive detail into your scene and all. And this bridge still looks kind of crooked. There's stuff I could have done with this to fix this scene a little bit more. But this is how you do it. This is it. We do actually have a shadow here, which is kind of nice. So it's a matter of getting a balance between everything. And so, all right, thank you again for watching. Take care, and I will see you again in the next easy 3D tutorial. This is RexRed saying so long, and again, thank you very, very much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.